Hi everybody, it's Janae Canis. Welcome back to Lectin Free Solutions. Today we're going to make a few different versions of gourmet nut butter. Some of you have asked me what I like to put on my walnut rolls, and these are a few of the things. One is a gourmet nut butter that is a combination of walnut butter, macadamia nut butter, and hemp hearts. And it's just a little diversion from straight walnut butter. I like to use this one for my mom particularly because it helps to hold weight. So anything that has macadamia nuts will help you do that. It doesn't mean that you will gain weight if you eat this, but you do maybe want to use a little more caution than using just the straight walnut butter. So let's get going with this. I've already put in the food processor. This is a 14-cup food processor. Now, if you don't have a food processor, you've seen me make nut butter before in a Vitamix, so that is also an option. I've just found that it's faster for me to do it in the food processor, and it's much easier to get it out when it's completed. One thing that I will tell you is there is not an exact measurement for the oil that I add to this. Some people make nut butter and they don't add any extra oil at all. I always add either a little bit of olive oil or a little bit of perilla oil or maybe a touch of sesame oil. So just go at it really slowly because your nuts will all have a varying degree of fat. So we'll start this off without any oil and then we'll add as we go. So inside the container, this is, like I said, this is a 14-cup food processor, and I already have in here 3 cups of walnuts. To that, I'm going to add 1.5 cups of macadamia nuts and 1 cup of whole hemp hearts. So here we go into the food processor, and as you can see, that's fairly full. Also, I'm going to be adding a teaspoon of salt. This you may have to adjust as you go. You can start with less if you want, but don't start with more than that. Okay, so we'll get that in there. You have to bear with me for the noise for a few minutes. Start pulsing. Just pulse it a few times to get it mixed up. And then we'll let it go and just get a feel for how much oil is actually in this batch. You can see it's starting to fold in on itself, but it's still a pretty dry mixture. I'm going to turn it off and we're going to add a little bit of oil. I like to scrape the sides down of this. You can add the oil through the top, but I feel like I have a little better control. You can see it's moist, but not enough to hold together as a butter. Even if you let it go for a long time, I've found that it's just not, it really needs a little addition. So we're going to start off with about 2 tablespoons. Here we go again. Watch the noise. Now it's coming together pretty nicely. The other thing that you have to consider is the texture of the nut butter. If you like it super, super smooth, then you'll need to keep going, and you might need to add a little bit more oil. I think this one is going to be pretty close. I'm going to stop it again and push the sides down. It's pretty moist. Actually, this one you can see you could almost use this as a spread now. It's moist enough. But let's just and let's taste it for salt. For me, that's a perfect amount. Oh, it has a nice flavor with those added macadamia nuts and hemp hearts. It really is a gourmet nut butter. Okay, here we go again for a few more minutes. It's getting really creamy and smooth. I know you can't see this from the top, but I'll show it to you as soon as it's almost done. If you can, I don't know if you can see the side of the mixture, but it's really moving pretty nicely. One more time to stop and push down. Oop. Okay, you can see again, it's really pretty creamy. I think that we're going to stop there. And what I'm going to do is, for our next gourmet, let me put some in here so you can get a little better look at it. And again, if you like chunky nut butter, you can always add chopped nuts to this. Now, that's just run through that short period of time, as you saw. So this will spread quite nicely on one of these rolls, and you can have that as a perfect snack. My mom actually loves this one. Now, the other thing that we're going to do is I'm going to take some of this and add it to one of my smaller food processor, and we're going to make a chocolate version, sort of like Nutella, but this puts Nutella to shame. It's just has a little bit of compliance sweetener, this same nut butter, and some raw cacao. So hang on a second while I change around the mixers and we'll get that going. All right, we're all ready to make our chocolate nut butter. I don't like to call this Nutella because this is so much tastier than Nutella is, and it doesn't have anything nasty in it. One thing that I forgot to mention is that when you want to make yourself a gourmet nut butter, you can use any combination of nuts, any of the compliant ones. Pistachios are really great, pecans. I don't use very many almonds in that, but if you want to use almonds, you certainly can. Okay, so now we're going to do the chocolate. In the small food processor, I put a cup of the nut butter that I already made, so you don't need to salt this. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to start off with a tablespoon. This is non-GMO allulose. You can use any of the compliant sweeteners that you like. I like this one. I like this one, and I like Bocha Sweet the best, but you use the one that you like. I don't know that we're going to need any more oil in this, but we'll just see. So we'll start off with a tablespoon of ground allulose, and we're going to do 2 tablespoons of cocoa or cacao. This is the Nativa organic. I like that one. Now let's just see how we go here. This is really yummy. You can use this on lots of different things. Works out to add to lots of desserts. Let me take a peek. Scrape down the sides. Yep. I just want to run it a few more seconds here, and I want to taste it to see if it's sweet enough. For my taste, it's absolutely sweet enough, but I like pretty dark chocolate. So feel free to add the amount that tastes the best to you. You may need another tablespoon, but I'm going to leave this as it is. And then let me get a knife and show you how nice of a spread. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll just put it on top of the gourmet nut butter as a little accent, and you can see how nice it spreads. So now you've got a double whammy. You've got gourmet nut butter and you've got chocolate nut butter. Doesn't get much better than that. All right, so I hope that you enjoy these recipes. They're fast to make, very nutritious, and I'll be back in just a second. I'm going to show you a quick tip to make a strawberry or any type of berry spread also for your rolls. We actually used it this morning on some plantain pancakes. It was delicious for that. So let me get set up and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back to make our quick strawberry jam. This is a little unusual. It's just strawberries, a little bit of sweetener, some lemon juice, and basil seeds. So the basil seeds are, if you've used them for making basil seed pudding, You know, they're a little bit like tapioca, except they have a little additional crunch. So I made this one yesterday. We had this morning with our waffles, which was really good. But I will warn you that if you don't like jam that has little seeds in it, you may not like this very much. Now, it doesn't bother me a bit. I can easily eat a blackberry or raspberry jam with the little seeds, and these are really quite a bit smaller. And what I did in this version was I took the basil seeds and I ground them in a little coffee grinder so that they would even be smaller. Now in the next batch I'm going to do, I'm just going to leave them whole because I don't think there's that much of a difference. Anyway, this is what I've got. It's about 1.5 cups. I've got frozen strawberries because that was what was available to me. I think they're a little bit easier to make the jam with because as they defrost, they have more liquid. So I've got 1.5 cups of defrosted frozen strawberries, and to that I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of allulose. You'll have to adjust this to your taste. And I've also got the juice of half a lemon, and I'm going to have to catch the seeds in my hands so that they don't go in. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to process this without the basil seeds, and then we're going to stir those in. Real quick right here. I don't like them to be I don't like the berries to be completely mush, so that's how quick that was. Get that off from there. And you can see it's pretty fluid. So what we're going to do is just add the basil seeds to this. I have 1 tablespoon of whole basil seeds. I'm going to add that into the berry mixture. And then I'll just pour it in a bowl and we'll let it sit overnight, and those basil seeds will puff up. The other thing you can do if you're in a bigger hurry is you can actually heat the whole mixture, and the basil seeds will get soft faster. I'm not in a hurry, so I'm just going to put this in a jar or in a bowl and let it sit overnight. And that's going to be, this is how it's going to be, but the consistency will be like this one. So if we're going to use it on our walnut rolls, we're just going to put a little bit like this. It's really yummy. You can, like I said, you can use it on top of your rolls, your waffles. You can actually put it on top of a little bit of fruit, anything that you want. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that today, and I hope you give the gourmet nut butter a try. I think you'll really, really like adding it to your collection. All right, thanks for stopping by. Sorry I have a mouthful. It was worth it though, that was a good bite. All right, thanks. Thanks for stopping by as always, and thanks for all your support.